Hey guys! How are you doing? How is everyone? I had a good weekend, yes. Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you, Akai. Hi, Yin Yin. Right. Huh?
Oh, and has Boka checked out the Warframe news? If not, can maybe react to it while waking up, lol.
Sure. That'll give me time to wake up before I have to do my Warframe mastery.
Look at this molten effect. Yeah, you're right. Look at the
Booty!
effects. You see
I
it?
think that
It's the booty!
I am so impressed with
So Devstream 180 has just ended, which means we have a lot, and I mean a lot, to talk about. So let's just jump right into it, shall we?
Tactical potato? He's Irish!
Make sure and mark your calendars for
Don't
June
forget to
the
subscribe
18th.
to the
That
Irishman.
is when Jade Shadows will arrive, which is the next Warframe cinematic quest, the next major update. But just to kind of whet your appetite, here is a tiny teaser that they showed on today's dev stream as well. I'm not sure if that whisper at the end of that with Stalker said Saren or Soren or Zoran. Upgraded Zorans would be pretty cool, but as we know, this quest is going to be heavily based around Stalker's lore. Now, you will need the new war completed to take part in the Jade Shadows quest. There's going to be new weapons, new Warframe, new game mode, new clan operation, new Arcanes, Augments, frame buffs, enemy health and armor changes, Heirloom, new Heirloom skin, and plenty of quality of life changes. Now, this is the new Warframe Jade, and she looks incredibly powerful. Jade is going to be a support-based Warframe. She is kind of angelic or seraphim. She's the light counterpart to Stalker's dark, and who better to describe how she works and her abilities than past Pablo, so praise be.
Hello, hello. I'm here to show you Jade,
Hi,
our
Pablo.
latest Warframe, and what she is all about. There she is, look at her. So what she's about, she's a support frame. She has protection for allies, she has debuffs against enemies, and then she packs a punch with her fourth. So let's start with her passive. Her passive has two parts. The first part, I'm probably going to show an image somewhere around here, is that she has two mod slots that are dedicated to auras. So basically you can put any two auras that you want, you can just throw them in there. Both of them increase the capacity, so obviously
She has
kinda
very
easier
good
to build
starting
because of
stats.
that. You know, they affect all allies and enemies just like any aura would. The other part of her passive is that her 1 and her 4th apply a debuff to enemies they hit. Her first ability creates this zone over here, and as you can see, that's where that is. And while I'm inside the zone, you can see in the upper right I have that little indicator there. That means that I'm taking healing over time as long as I'm inside. And when I leave, you can see it now goes from infinite duration to a set duration, similar to how it works with Wisp and her modes.
I have
While
good
you're in the
starting stats.
area,
Oh shit.
they last forever. Once you get out, it
Let me
changes.
go to React.
And you can have up to
scene
3 of these
so
zones.
People.
And for enemies, when you throw it to them, basically it'll deal damage over time, and it will mark them with your passive, which is what I was
Why are they
talking
all
about
like,
earlier,
"Whoop,
which
whoop,
basically
whoop,
increases how
whoop."
much damage they take from all sources. For her second ability, she has 3 different auras that you can select from. So if I activate it here, you can see I get squad shield effectiveness, and you can see my overshields are growing until they reach the cap. Now if I can switch my aura without having to recast, so it costs me no energy. So I just switch to this one, which this increases my ability strength. And as you can see, I actually kept the overshield, so you can actually kind of do some strategery things there. Also, you can do the same with this power strength one, because you can, for example, right now you could cast her 3 or her 4th or her 1, which will snapshot the power strength that she has right now, and then after that you could switch to the other aura, which is weapon damage increase for the squad. So you
Oh
are
yeah,
kinda
don't worry
incentivized
guys.
to swap
You'll be
around
able to
the
play
auras
anything you
as
want.
you
I'm
need
going to
them.
use her a lot.
Again, it costs you no energy to swap the aura. It's just the initial cast that costs you. For her third ability, any enemy that's
You
on
mean
her
yes,
side
this is Warframe? What do you mean?
gets slowed down and gets their armor removed. So you can see these guys now are moving quite slowly, and their armor is now gone. And they're basically at the mercy of my gaze. For the ally part of this ability, we have this. You can see Mark is over there. He died. He's one of the designers working in Jade. And I can just use my third ability and I can revive him at a distance just by looking at him. It's my very, very powerful sight. And finally, she takes flight. As you can see, she moves kind of similar to Heirloom, but way faster. She can move around quite a bit. This is actually an exalted weapon, so you can just shoot enemies with it. As you can see, does quite a bit of damage, or you can mark them with your one, and then you can use your outfire to detonate them for ludicrous amounts of damage. So yeah, as you can see, with her force, she does pack quite a bit of punch. So that's it for Jade. To recap, her passive has two parts. One is she has 2 aura mode slots.
so that's
Two
pretty cool.
is her 1 and her 4th apply a debuff to enemies and makes them take extra damage. Then her first ability is a large zone that
definitely
she
gonna
can
play
create
her
that deals
because
damage
I
over
love that
time
they like
and
aimed
applies
on
that
the
passive to either enemies or allies. Her second ability has 3 different auras that you can cycle through. One is power strength, the other is weapon damage, the other is boosted shields. The third ability is anything you look at gets slowed down, armor stripped, shield stripped, and if there's a falling ally, you can revive them just by looking at them. And finally, her 4th, you take flight, you do a ton of damage with your exalted weapon, and with your outfire, you can detonate any enemies that are already marked by your passive.
Now, there is a lot to take away from what Pablo had to say about her, or when he showcased her. She is the first Warframe to have 2 aura slots, making her easier to mod or build, because it will, of course, increase her capacity. Her third ability is the subsumed ability, except the revive portion of that ability. You're not going to be able to use that when it's subsumed. Her ultimate ability does look pretty powerful. It can shoot at the ground, kind of like what Heirloom, except they said she moves faster than Heirloom. I really honestly just can't wait to get my hands on her and build her myself and see which way I want to build, whether some community members are probably going to lean towards support and others will lean towards damage. Am I kidding?
She can do both, which I like.
Now, her ensemble buff apparently will
there's
work
a
with her
reason
3
to have 2
signature
different
weapons.
pages.
If she has all 3 signature weapons equipped, and apparently you use the special effect on each of those weapons, you will buff your entire squad. We don't know what that buff is, but these are her Harmony Scythe, her Canter Throwing Knives, and her Bow the Evensong. Everything you see on screen with these from stats on that are placeholder, and Pablo even mentioned that some of these stats have already been changed since the dev build, which are shown off on stream. Now remember, Jade is the light to Stalker's dark, which is why she's coming with 3 signature weapons in the same way that Stalker has his 3 signature weapons. But she is also coming with an alternate helmet, the Aerolt helmet, I think they said it was called. There is a new game mode coming with the Jade Shadows update called Ascension. And this is Warframe's take on a vertical mission type. Instead of moving through the mission, I guess, on ground horizontal through the whole tile set, you're going to be going vertical. It is not an endless mission type, which is a shame, but it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun nonetheless. There is an elevator that needs to be fueled with energy to work, but you're going to need to fight off the corpus as they jump onto your elevator, apparently from their elevator, in order to stop you. So you need to keep fueling this elevator. It's similar to a hijack mission without the need to stay close to the energy pod.
To keep it going
you
up.
ride the elevator up to the top with fighting off all of these corpus as they jump on. And Pablo also mentioned a mini-boss and a lot of Jade Xmas
near
used
the energy pod.
the end of this mission, so apparently it is going to get hectic. Now, the idea of an elevator mission that you're constantly fighting enemies as you're on your way up to the top reminds me a little bit of some of the missions, I think, in Destiny, but also Godfall. If you've ever played Godfall, there is an endgame mission type where you're in an elevator and it's constantly stopping at floors and letting waves of enemies on that you need to kill in order to, I guess, unlock the next floor. So it kind of gives me that idea. However, the mission type isn't endless. It's just whatever it is, and then you have to leave.
If I use Zazu, we're
of
gonna
course,
have
this
like
new game
50
mode is also bringing us the new clan event, the Belly
I don't know
of the
why,
Beast, where new Jade Light
but if
Xmas
I
units
use
will be
Zazu,
running
more
in this mission,
nullifiers
chasing
spawn.
you,
If I use
and their
anyone
attacks
else,
have to be
normal
avoided.
amount.
Basically dodge the Jade
Zazu,
Light
3 times
beams.
the amount.
No idea what they do to us if they hit us. Orders for the Belly of the Beast mode will be in a relay for the new Ascension clan event. He will be the vendor and how you actually run this event. He is also where you will get Jade parts and of course weapon parts as well. The pity system for those tokens. There are 3 ephemeras going to be on offer with this clan event, the Asteria and the 2 upgraded versions. These are basically the community reward goal for this clan event. So it is community-wide event in order to earn those rewards. It is not clan specific. Everyone is going to have to pull together within the entire community to unlock these rewards. This is the Jade Light Xmas skin that they showed off for the Hate Scythe as well, and it looks really cool.
Oh,
now,
that's
during
really
this event,
cool.
they have also said there is going to be limited Arcanes for you to get your hands on. Arcanes that they're bringing back from past clan events, but you're only going to be able to get 2 full sets. This apparently is in order to stop players from burning out during the clan event, because players last time went a little bit nuts and played for, I guess, crazy amounts of time. But it's also probably something to do with to stop the trade market being killed and maybe affect platinum sales at the same time, because Arcanes play a huge part within trade chat, and I guess if it gets flooded with Arcanes, prices fall, less platinum on offer. You get what I mean? But at the same time, burnout can be real, and the last thing you want to do is burn yourself out in the game, put it down after the clan event, and not come back until the next major update. Now, we know they are also adding some pretty big armor and status changes with the Jade Shadows update.
Some of you
Armor
aren't very
and
excited
health
for this.
scaling are being adjusted, so there's going to
I'm
be a new
excited
enemy
for
armor
it.
cap and effective health scaling. There is also going to be enhancements to lesser used status effects. Cold procs are going to freeze enemies completely, which will then double the crit damage that those enemies will take. For blast damage, now when an enemy gets a blast proc, it has a delay before a secondary explosion, which deals a percentage of that initial blast proc. But if you get maximum stacks of blast, or you kill the enemy affected by that blast proc, then it will add all of that damage together and explode in an AoE, hopefully hitting enemies around it. Magnetic damage is also being changed. Its damage scaling now works on shields and overguard enemies, making it a really good option against Xmas units. It also apparently has a static charge effect that will shock enemies at the end of it and give them an
Wait, so
electric
did
shock
Magnetic
and
get
status
become one of the
proc.
best
So
ones?
Magnetic
Since now
looks
it's
like a
very good
good
against
option now,
Xmas units.
especially with things like Archon Stretch for energy regen once enemies have an electric proc on them, because that's going to hopefully trigger that as well.
At least my
As a
boy
result
Frost
of
also
the
finally
cold proc
getting some
changes,
much
however,
needed love.
Frost is now getting some pretty big buffs as well due to those changes.
Well, yeah,
Frost will
now
spread actual cold procs, because apparently before this
Do
they
extra
weren't
crit
proper
damage.
cold procs, which will last longer. Frost used to stop enemies getting ragdolled when they were frozen, but that's also going to be a thing of the past. Now they're going to make sure that that will be working, allowing enemies to be ragdolled while they're frozen. So you can expect frozen statues being ragdolled by your abilities. Frost's first ability is going to have a bigger radius and more range. His globe is getting changed to allow us to finally be able to shoot through the snow globe from outside into it, whereas before this we could only shoot out of the snow globe. His passive has been also changed. His armor will now scale based on
Has
the amount
Boka
of
gotten
enemies
the Tenet
near him
Galaxy
that
in
are
yet?
affected
Yeah.
by cold procs. So Frost is about to get even
Raven got it for
better
me.
than he was
And I think I already
before.
had it.
In fact, he's probably
'Cause
going
I
to
have
be
2,
insane.
I think.
There is
which
also
weird.
changes to how enemy shields will function with recharging and delays of their shields. Damage vulnerability used to stack with the old skin type system. That's getting changed with the new armor and health change values for enemies with this update, and this caused certain abilities to go above the vulnerability cap, which was wasted percentages, but that's now about to get its own thing as well.
Right.
But to be fair, that only really affects a few
You can
Warframe
valiance
abilities, so
them
we'll
and
see how
abuse the
that plays
damage.
out. Enemy armor does
Alright.
not go beyond 2700 with this update. That means 90% damage reduction at 2700 for those enemies, but if you add 10 stacks of corrosive, enemies' damage reduction will now be down at 40%, whereas before these changes, if they had 10 stacks, they would still be well over 60% damage reduction. So it is having a considerable amount of a change to how enemies will have damage reduction with this update. Which brings us to the Heirloom skins, right? Heirloom 2024, or is it Heirloom? Heirloom? I'm going to just say it opposite ways, so I'm going to get it right half the time. Last year, DE revealed Heirloom skins, and it went horribly wrong, right? They were overpriced. The community really weren't impressed, so they've gone and they've changed how heirlooms work. This is the next Heirloom skin for Ember. This design is based on a fan art that DE just bought out from a community artist in order to add it into the game. From this point onwards, heirlooms will be one Warframe at a time, not two like Frost and Mag, and it is launching at 10 o'clock. This is what you can get in the Heirloom bundle. You're going to be able to get the skin, the sigma, the glyph, the sigil, and so on. However, how you acquire it has also been drastically changed. It's going to be on offer in 2 ways. One of the ways is for $24.99 US, which is way cheaper than last year's. This is also going to come with 450 platinum in the bundle, but you can also buy the heirloom skin and
I can't
its
wait till they
items
have an heirloom
separately,
for Zazu.
and every heirloom bundle from Ember onwards for platinum, and it will stay in the market forever. Frost and Mag's heirlooms won't be added back into the game in this way. You're not going to be able to get those. It is only for future heirlooms. So make sure and let me know in the comment section below what you think of these changes.
I am sad that it looks
Now,
like
this
Frost and
is
Mag aren't
the
coming back,
Lorelli
'cause I
Deluxe
really wanted
skin,
Frost.
the Pandea skin. I'm not gonna lie,
I play a lot of
prefer
Mag, so
this
it would've
to
been
her
nice to have
base
Mag.
skin. Also, it's got cake for days. This is coming with the Jade Shadows update as well. Also, let me know what you think of it, because I know some players really don't like this. There are 4 new augments coming with this update as well. This is them. There is Protea's Blaze augment, Seva.
That would give a reason to use my 4, I guess? Just have like a turret on me? Sevagoths look interesting. Ooh! I like that.
Sevagoths, So Augment, Dagats, Arcanes coming with this update.
Right, new augments. Ooh!
Well, I'm sure Slimu really appreciates it. You basically gave them the second Excel Prime, since those heirlooms are the only ones never coming back.
Yeah, I'm sure Slime likes it. Well, there's your Frost Arcane. Secondary Fortifier. Looks good. I want that. 'Cause that gives reason to use, in my opinion at least, gives reason to use the status bulk sticks. New things. Gain 3 decree rerolls. I don't see the point in that one too much. That's cool. That's crazy. Basically, if you want to farm in that area, you want to grab this. If you want to farm in Devere, you want to get this first. Because you double your farming for that day in that area.
Along with a polarity hint, if you've modded wrong in the wrong polarity, there is a lot of new subsets of stats symbols to let you know that some of the stats have gone down because you've changed your build. Basically, it's just extra information to help players better understand their builds, how to improve, or what stats went up, what stats went down. You can now see what augments frames can have that you can get your hands on their ability screen in the codex, and it will tell you where you can get these augments as well.
That's helpful.
There is going to be a community fashion spotlight choice when you, I guess, go into your Warframe's appearance, which will allow you to pick from a community's fashion and implement that onto your Warframe. Initially, this is only going to be for starter Warframes and Jade, but eventually they're going to roll it out as many as possible. There is a quick select wheel is going to be more available in different places. There is HUD scaling coming to allow you to make your HUD smaller if you prefer, I guess, a minimalistic view. There is distance enemy damage scaling coming, which I'm quite excited for, because on the left is how it is now, and on the right is how it's going to be once this is implemented into the game, and you're actually going to be able to see your enemy, what you're aiming at. He's not going to be covered by bloody damage numbers if he's too far away, because the damage numbers are bigger than the feckin' enemy. Color pickers for beginner Warframe is also going to be a choice when you're on that new player. Which frame are you going to pick? You can choose between different colors. You will be able to change your loadout from the navigation menu, so you can swap around your configurations when you're picking which planet you want to go to, instead of having to fast travel back down to the arsenal or run back down to it.
Oh, you can change your Warframe before you while you're on that screen.
Of life changes
That's
coming
nice.
with the update. Adversary pruning is liches and sisters will now have a cap. There's pathos clamps, which are coming as a reward now, or going to be given as a reward.
Hug Boka the cutie.
No. This I like. I might actually mine it when that comes through.
Okay, hug myself. Yeah, that's possible.
And many, many more.
Did Boka stretch and consume
We also
water?
got to see the TennoCon schedule for each of the panels. This is it. First ever, so
I like that.
Devstream is starting off the
It'll
day.
be easier to
And of
find
course,
stuff.
it's going to end with the Devstream and the day's big reveals right at the very end with the sounds of the game and all that in between. But that's pretty much a breakdown of everything that was shown off on the Devstream. Let me know what you like the look of or what you didn't. Have a great day, and as always, thanks for watching.
Right. That was Tactical Potato. You better subscribe to them, bro. Irishman.
I'm on my 16th hate and 21 despair.
I despair. I despair highly because of that.
Wait. Hey guys, come watch me on twitch.tv/Boka the Dragon. Or I'll kill you. Okay, now we can.
Boka.
Alright guys, have fun!
LMAO.
Oh, the rapper, he must do the rappers! There we go. You guys have fun! I love
Boka is
you.
very tiny.
No, I'm not. Your face is tiny. Let's be honest here.